Why Pope Francis never returned to Argentina, the hidden story behind his absence. When the world mourns Pope Francis's passing, the scenes in his homeland Argentina tell a powerful story. Churches are packed with people paying their respects, and the nation mourns a leader who was born and raised among them. President Javier Milei has even declared 7 days of national mourning, highlighting just how much this figure meant. But amid all the emotion, a question lingers: why did Pope Francis, despite being Argentine, never return home as Pope? It's a striking irony, especially given that during his 12-year papacy, he traveled extensively, 66 countries in total, with 7 trips to Latin America, but never to his own Argentina. The closest he got were neighboring countries like Brazil, Paraguay, Bolivia, and Chile. This stark absence stands in contrast to his predecessors, Benedict XVI and John Paul II, who visited their homelands early in their pontificates. For years, there was hope. Francis himself often spoke about considering a trip back home, and the country's bishops and presidents kept extending invitations. Yet, that visit never materialized. Perhaps the story behind this omission is as complex as the country's turbulent politics. Francis's relationship with Argentina's political landscape has always been complicated. He has deliberately stayed distant from the fractious political scene, mainly to avoid being used as a pawn. This cautious stance may have also influenced his decision, or rather, his restraint, in returning. When he was elected Pope in 2013, the Catholic Church in Argentina was struggling. Meanwhile, the evangelical movement was rapidly expanding among his nation's poor, presenting a real challenge to Catholic influence. His absence in Argentina's spiritual fight arguably did little to stop this decline. In fact, Catholic membership dropped significantly during his time as Pope. The political history adds more layers. As Jorge Bergoglio, he clashed with Nestor Kirchner's government, even being labeled the spiritual leader of the opposition. Relations with the Kirchner family worsened over the years, particularly with Cristina Fernandez, who initially saw him as a political threat. After Bergoglio's election, Cristina quickly sought rapprochement, but many in Buenos Aires saw her efforts as tactical moves rather than genuine reconciliation. This tense backdrop likely made Pope Francis cautious about stepping into the country's increasingly toxic political arena. Later presidents, from Macri to Fernandez, also experienced rocky relations, especially around issues like social policies and church-state separation. When Javier Milei, a far-right populist who insulted the Pope during his campaign, won the presidency in 2023, the chances of a return diminished even further. Despite a Vatican audience, Francis was openly critical of Milei's policies, especially his economic shock tactics that pushed poverty above 50%. Many regional leaders are probably relieved that the current situation doesn't call for a papal visit, and perhaps, Francis preferred to keep it that way. Beyond Argentina, Francis didn't shy away from speaking on regional issues, condemning dictatorships and calling out injustices. But his absence from his homeland hints at a complex web of political avoidances, personal choices, and regional dynamics. His story reminds us that even the most towering figures are often shaped by the intricate, sometimes painful, realities of their origins.